Hateful vandalism hits the Bronx. Synagogues get targeted. The big clue that police hope will lead to an arrest.
Plenty of sunshine this week, but we've got to wait for the warmth. I'll let you know when we hit 80 degrees.
And New York Live sits down with actor Reggie Lee, the importance of his role in the drama All Rise and the unexpected connection he has to Prince. This is News 4 Now for April 26. I'm Adam Cooperstein. A man's been throwing rocks and smashing windows at synagogues in the Bronx, and police have now released video hoping to track him down with this. Police say the guy you see here is wanted for a string of attacks at temples in Riverdale. Officers say he's targeted at least 4 synagogues between Thursday and Saturday.
Some people won't come to the synagogue. They'll be afraid for a while. But, I can't let that get in the way. Once you do that, then they've won already.
I think this is what's happening also with what's happening to Asian Americans, and we've seen some of the horrific videos on TV.
Mayor de Blasio tweeted that the NYPD's Hate Crimes Task Force has a solid lead and will take swift action. And Governor Cuomo is directing New York State Police to help with the investigation into this anti-Semitic attack. We now have clearer video of the man wanted for viciously beating an Asian American man in East Harlem. The suspect here was seen inside a store. Police say surveillance video shows him knocking the 61-year-old man to the ground and then kicking him in the head multiple times. That man's name has not been released, but police say he is in critical condition. It was a violent weekend in the city, specifically in the Bronx and Brooklyn. In total, there were 11 shootings and 12 people shot. In the Wakefield section of the Bronx, an 18-year-old was killed sitting on his stoop when someone who's still on the loose shot him in the face and chest. And in Red Hook, Brooklyn, a woman was shot on her way to a birthday party. And in Crown Heights, a man in critical condition after he was shot in the chest. According to the NYPD, by April 24th of last year, when the city was mostly in lockdown at the height of the pandemic, there were 210 shootings and 238 victims. This year, it's up to 372 and 410 victims. Mayor de Blasio's spokesperson tells us the city has a plan to target high crime areas with more patrols and more prevention resources.
How many times?
A final farewell to legendary New York rapper DMX. Loved ones laid him to rest after a private funeral and a homegoing celebration in Brooklyn. The funeral followed Saturday's memorial service for DMX at Barclays Center that drew thousands of fans.
Even though he can't talk back, I know I can still talk to him. He was a good man and people say he's a legend. So I'm glad and I think it's cool that I get to call a legend my dad.
He was like a brother to me, like a son.
DMX died earlier this month at the age of 50 after suffering a heart attack. He leaves behind 15 children. Today, New York State is easing capacity restrictions on attractions like museums, aquariums, zoos, and botanical garden. The capacity there is going to increase to 50%. Movie theaters move to 33%. Indoor arenas, they're not going to be raising capacity until May 19th, and that'll be at 25%. It all comes as the state's positivity rate drops to its lowest 7-day average since November. We first told you about this earlier this month when it was stolen from Blast from the Past games in Bayshore. Security cameras captured the women carrying it away. Suffolk County Police say that statue was found at a home in Wyandanch, and they arrested a woman and then returned that stormtrooper. A new interactive digital art installation is now open right here at 30 Rock. Life Forces is the latest creation from the artists known as Tin and Ed. This art installation takes people on a journey through the natural world by using 3D scanning and human body tracking.
A lot of the work that we do is really about trying to shift our understanding and connection to the natural world. And we'd like to, for people sort of take away from this work that, we are part of the natural world and not separate from it.
You can check out Life Forces in Rockefeller Center's South Plaza, just outside the Today Show studio. That art's going to be on display through June 30th, and tickets and reservations are not required. A beloved landmark on Long Island's East End is finally up for restoration. Senator Chuck Schumer says work's going to begin next month to protect the Montauk Lighthouse from slipping into the ocean. The Montauk Lighthouse was the first lighthouse ever built in New York. It's also the first national landmark commissioned by George Washington. The lighthouse sat 300 feet from the coast back when it was built in 1796, but today, because of erosion, it's less than 100 feet from the ocean. We're getting a new look at a familiar and famous New York City story. The first trailer for Steven Spielberg's remake of West Side Story debuted during the Oscars on Sunday night. The 1961 hit has new stars, but the sharks, the jets, and a lot of the iconic musical moments are still there. Much of it was filmed in New York and New Jersey, and the set was built in Patterson. And Spielberg's West Side Story is going to hit theaters December 10th. Well, the sun is back, but it's pretty cool and breezy still, and a warm-up is ahead. But Matt, sounds like we also have something to look forward to special in the stars tonight.
It's been nice to get the sunshine back today, but we've been fighting that cool northwesterly wind that finally starts to ease up later this evening. Skies are clear and it will be pretty chilly, but if you throw on a coat, you can check out something cool. The first supermoon of 2021 is tonight. Peaks right around 11:30. Full pink moon, not because of the color, but because it kind of comes right in line when flowers are starting to bloom. And the tulips are pink, not the moon. Tomorrow, a little bit better. Without those winds to fight and a fair amount of sunshine, we should be able to climb close to 70 degrees. And then we go even warmer on Wednesday. Look at this. Highs getting in the 80s. Should be dry through the day, but there is a chance for a couple of thunderstorms late on Wednesday evening.
I've had innumerable operations. Feel tired of a limb hurts. What's the big deal?
That's Sophie Gerber, a New York girl through and through and a COVID survivor. Her go-get-em attitude is an inspiration to all of us because despite pre-existing health issues, she beat COVID last year and celebrated her 100th birthday. And News 4's Mark Santia has her story.
I'm here.
There's a secret in that sound. Sophie Gerber says laughter is the key to longevity.
Don't let a day go by without laughing at something.
It's no joke. Sophie turns 100 this weekend against all odds.
I started to run a fever.
Last year at this time, Sophie was diagnosed with COVID-19.
I wasn't eating and I was kept in bed.
Sophie survived and was discharged just in time to celebrate her 99th birthday perched from a window as friends gathered on 46th Street. This year, after being fully vaccinated, Sophie is ready for a special gift.
How do we describe total joy and rapture? Holding somebody that you've nurtured since infancy.
This mom wants to give her son Joe a hug.
And tell him how much I've missed him. And how I want to stay close to him for as long as I possibly can.
Hugging her child is something Sophie has not been able to do in more than a year, and she has no idea that moment is now.
And I will hug him with all my might.
Prove it.
Hey, Mom,
how you doing?
Oh, Booby.
After hugs, some jokes.
I haven't really changed. And I'm watching dirty movies, yes.
Okay.
And a couple tears.
I don't cry these days.
Well, I do, so don't move.
It's time for mother and son to dance.
Heidi, Heidi, ho.
An in-person reunion in the middle of a pandemic.
What a life we've had.
This New Yorker does not pull punches.
You're going to survive.
Sophie knows this year has been hell on the city she loves, but to her 8.2 million neighbors, a birthday gift of wisdom.
You must tell yourself that you're going to get through this. And you're going to get through it in the best possible way.
In Hell's Kitchen, Mark Santia, News 4 New York.
And now New York Live has a story about an actor on the rise with an interesting connection to Prince.
Well, it has been a busy year in and out of the courtroom over on All Rise for head deputy district attorney Thomas Choi, played by Reggie Lee. It's meant bigger cases and bigger responsibilities. Watch this.
When I was grade 1, eons ago, some of the guys started this running joke. Every time I was assigned a case with an Asian defendant.
Did they your people you?
No. Hey, Choi, go easy on your uncle. Hey, Choi, is that your cousin? Korean, Chinese, didn't matter to him.
Comedians.
Laugh riot. That's who I avoided when I could. Skip the files with Asian names. Then I get a trial handoff, last minute. Walk in, and there is this Filipino kid.
Actually, your people?
20 years old, maybe. He was relieved to see me. I'm the prosecutor, and he's relieved.
Right, because we have a responsibility.
I put that guy away for 10 years.
Reggie joins me now. Hey, Reggie, how you doing?
Hey, I am good now that I'm talking to you.
I know, same. I'm so excited. Tell us more about your character, because you're the boss.
I was doing some research on Asian Americans and the roles that they play in media. And what's interesting is most Asian Americans aren't portrayed in any management position. So it's really wonderful to be put in this position of some power. And I play this very, very strict boss, you know, who goes by the justice system, who goes by the law.
My producer did some research. I did not know this, but she found out that you once performed with Prince. Is this true? And hello, what?
I first came here to LA and I started dancing here, you know, so I was in the dance world. It was like, you know, the video time and people had videos out and tours and all that stuff. But yeah, it was the MTV Music Awards with Prince. And it was crazy. But he was, all I remember is that he was a really, really, really wonderful, classy human being and an amazing performer. So yeah, that's my time with Prince. You know, that's one of the highlights of my life.
Child, you got a book to write. Well, I want to let everybody know that you can catch All Rise Mondays at 9 p.m. on CBS. Reggie, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Ditto here. And we've got to do this again.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.